which was the language that I'm so good at. Bonjour. Okay, so it would be very close to each other. And then you have Berlin, which is very close to Germany. So when you look at the whole perspective, the whole spectrum, you can see this one. So between man and woman, the sector of man and woman, you will have word like uncle, woman, queen, sir, man, or king. But when you talk about comedy, like you talk about family more or Circle K, they basically will perceive that, oh, you are talking about convenience stores. So they have a link together. And afterward, it has something that is called transformer architecture. So basically, AI models do not pay attention to only a word. They try to perceive all of the things all together based on the attentive mechanisms. So for example, you can consider this specific example, the bank of the river flooded versus she deposited money at the bank. So they are banks simultaneously, but the river and the flooded gave rise to a different meaning for the bank. Basically, we understand it is a sign between the river and also on the other occasion, the deposit and money provide another definition. It is an institution where we just basically save our money and conducts different transactions in terms of finance. So let me just try to make it very simple for you. Let's consider this specific sentence here. So Alice loves her dog. First, the AI will basically try to create different vectors for the word. So you will have like Alice loves her and dog. They basically have a different location in a high dimensional space. So basically it's like when you talk about, in a class, if I try to ask a question, I will try to pay attention to the top of the class more because I understand that they are more willing to answer and have my confrontation. So we pay attention to people with good academic abilities, and we try to give a side eye for students who don't want to answer or who are sleeping in the class. So basically, all of the situation here, the direction, give me the information. Where should I look to? And afterward, in the step number 2, each embedded is transformed into 3 vectors. So you have query, you have key, and also you have value. For the query, what I'm looking for. So the word basically asking, what information do I need from all the words? I know my meaning, but what I need to know more about things that are around me. In the second one, what I can offer is what I have that may be useful to your knowledge. And the last one, V, is about what meaning do I actually carry. So after basically trying to calculate by multiplying embeddings by learned matrices, which is the process known as AI training. So different models have different matrices, different trainings that basically will give rise to different answers. And also, so here we have all the word, the query, the key, and the value. And next, we calculate the attention scores individually for each. So we have the first relationship, loves and Alex. We have the attention score of 2.0, loves and loves 1.5, loves and her 0.5, and loves and dog 1.0. So basically at this specific time, we can kind of guess, okay, this one looks very important, but the last one, the loves and her, it doesn't have such a good important score. And then I will try to transform it basically based on percentage after soft max. So you can understand the contribution of each word based on its meaning and also the connection it has with other surrounding words. So you can see here, loves to loves is 30%. So it means that love always carry an innate value. It always has that particular meaning, 30%. However, 50% of it is defined by the subject, which in this case is Alice. And only 5% is defined by the word her. So I have this very easy to understand. So the representation of love is 50% of Alex, plus 30% of love and 15% of dog. So love is very important to be defined by the subject. It's also very important to be defined by the object, but it's defined more by the subject and the intrinsic value of the love more than the object itself. So you can say, I love, she loves. It is more important than which object or which person that I portray my love for. Yeah, so that is how AI model basically work and transform everything. They understand the nuances, the subtlety behind all the sentences and the word. So basically, they can understand you better and be a better reflection of yourself. Okay? So moving on, I want to talk about, this is the conclusion. The conclusion for the previous example, Alice is crucial for understanding the verb loves. Dog also contributes meaningfully context. And the word heard is not as relevant in this particular context. And so how do these AI features revolutionize English learning? It's needed to say, right? It's so easy to say why and how. But let me just have a quick clarification. So in Vietnamese literature exams, when you want to grade a specific exam, you have to have a specific language tutor only for that particular text. So you have to basically, if you want to write about a topic, people would have to make a very detailed description of what you have to include, what you don't include, and basically the value of each point that you include in the text. However, for IELTS, the situation is so different. We only have one language tutor, and basically the role of the examiner is try to give it an interpretation and try to match all the features. And because the way that examiners are trained are not made publicly, so AI language models basically do not have enough information to grade your essay. Okay, so that is why sometimes you can ask it repetitively multiple times and you have a different range of results. So it would not be accurate. However, it is very accurate when it comes to lexical resources, grammatical range and accuracy. You can rely on them on that. However, it would not be a good reflection of your text response and also your coherence and cohesion. Okay, yeah. And so by using AIs, learners can now receive feedback embedded in context and not just isolated corrections. And model can identify subtle error in tone, coherence, or appropriateness of word choice. Let me give you an example. So I have this example here. I have been interest to photography, and I usually take pictures about animals. If you only make grammatical correction, you have something like this one. I have a big interest in photography, and I usually take pictures of animals. However, if you ask an AI language model, it would try to give you this kind of feedback. First, semantic nuances. I'm really interested in sounds more natural and conversational than I have a big interest in. Lexical collocation, you take pictures of animals, not pictures about animals, which implies informational images. And last but not least, style and fluency often feel smoother and more conversational than usually, though both are correct. So you have the final fixture of this one. I'm really interested in photography, and I often take pictures of animals. It sounds very natural because that is how AI language works. They try to make sure that the content is natural, relevant, and contains subtlety that can reflect your deeper meaning rather than just a superficial representation of the meaning of a sentence. Okay? And so by using it, learners can basically practice English through authentic, spontaneous, and varied interactions rather than rigid dialogues. So you imagine you have yourself a virtual friend who can communicate with you, listening to your rant every single day. Oh, I hate my best friend. She wore such a slutty dress, and I don't like her. They basically will listen to you, and no one will try to give you an answer for that. But AI language model makes sure that you feel satisfied, so you can continue questioning and you continue to subscribe to the best premium features, and you pay money. Okay, so that is the key. Okay. Furthermore, conversational AI can sustain coherent and meaningful conversation on virtual any topic, adjusting to the learner's proficiency and interests in real time. So I basically developed myself a lot of different AI chatbots that you can basically use to learn English for free. I have the first one here. It's basically called IELTS Speaking Part 2 by the Forum, and also I have the vocabulary coach. For this particular coach, you can use it basically for free. You just download ChatGPT and then you import the vocabulary coach in the Explore GPT section. And then basically it will ask you, oh, which topic would you like to practice today? And then we'll try to give you basically vocabulary, how to use them, and also all the examples. So basically, I work very heavily in this field, and I understand how AI it basically change and use. So when you ask them something, they just reflect you, your intention, your ability, your capability. If you are not good, you do not have such a good understanding of things, it will just reflect very poorly. But if inside yourself you have such a good quality and you try to visualize and make something come true, ChatGPT and other language models are perfect for you. Let me be honest, okay? And so basically, why the feature matter for lifelong learning? Semantic nuances. They build deeper understanding, enabling learners to grasp certain meanings and expressions throughout life. Lexical collocation ensure accuracy and authenticity, helping learners sound natural and fluent, and also style and fluency. So why it is very important for you to engage in lifelong learning? Nowadays, everything changes so fast from one day to another. So just like a couple of days, a couple of weeks, or even months, your degree will become obsolete. The knowledge that you have learned become irrelevant. So you have to try to pump up yourself, try to upgrade, and try to modernize your knowledge. It's so important. You have to understand the new tools, the new offers in the market, so you can learn better, you can be superior compared to all of your enemies. Moving on, the career advancement. I know you are good. You are in such a beautiful and prestigious university. You are such good students. However, you have to make sure that you are better than your friends, because you want to hold management, leadership positions rather than just work 8 to 5 and being paid a minimum wage. You want to get the top spot. You have to be better than your friend. And AI and also other tools can help you to pump up your knowledge, transform yourself, and make yourself better. And last but not least, it's about sustained learning. It's about the feeling of achieving something else, being better, becoming a better version of yourself, being empowered. The knowledge that you have, the understanding you get from all of the learning, the talking with the chatbot, or the time that you spend in the auditorium with your friends, they will transform you, basically make you a better version of yourself. So that is why it's so important. And last but not least, you have to act that AI is your personal life coach. You listen to advice, but you have the ability to filter the wrong and the right. You have the ability to critically analyze all the information. You need to also make sure that you check all the information very carefully. Because let me tell you, AI sometimes can engage in hallucinating activities. So basically it tries to make up facts and information. And if you don't try to put a very close eye on, you will sometimes just let it out. And people will look at all the information that you present to them, and it will be very ridiculous. So you have to make sure that you have the ability to recheck all the information. Secondly, English at a global gateway. I don't care about my 9.0 score. Actually, I never have the knowledge that I hold that score, because so many different people, they have achieved the score even before me. They are even better, they are even more fluent, they use English much better. I'm only a learner. I care about my English because I want to convey meaning, information. I want to portray myself correctly with the word. I don't use English knowledge as something that labels myself superior compared to others. So English is only a tool. It's something to represent yourself, and it's not yourself. And last but not least, you have to engage continuous learning, because you are university students. You have the ability to critically analyze information and try to absorb more knowledge. So try to make sure that you improve yourself day on and day out. Just try to make sure to yourself that you get better 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years more. And I have this beautiful opportunity to be in front of you guys. I love you guys so much, and I believe that my presentation can give you something that you have never encountered before. Love you, and thank you so much for listening.
Wow! Let's give a big round of applause.